What's up, everybody? We're back with another podcast, and tonight we've got Doug Pekera,
Evening.
and he's going to talk about some stuff that he's just getting into. So, before we jump right into that, and we are going to jump right into that, before we do, I want to tell you, first off, foremost, if you want to keep up with our podcast, you want to keep up with our social media, check us out on Instagram at Southern_Release_TV, and then check us out on YouTube at Southern Release. We are on there, and we are trying to set up some other stuff to kind of get to the point where, you know, we can allow y'all to show us some love and share our stuff and everything like that. But at the end of the day, regardless, we hunt, we do a bunch of stuff that, you know, not everybody's friendly with on these social media sites. So we get kind of snuffed out a little bit. So if you want to really help us, share our stuff. Tell your friends, share our stuff, get it out there as much as possible. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell. You can keep up with everything we got going on. And that really means more to us than anything that you could possibly do. So with that being said, we've got Doug here. And he has started a new business, and it's called, what's it called, Doug?
It's called Bone Dust.
Bone Dust. I like it. So with Bone Dust, so this is going to be, so we'll touch on this too. So with this being a podcast, you know, I actually got into podcasting through, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I never shut up. People are like, you know, you talk a lot, so you should probably record this, maybe possibly make some money off of it, or at least, you know, get to the point where everybody's listening. But one of our mutual friends, Sean Malloy, he mentioned, he was like, you know, we should do a podcast. You should do a pod. He said we, you know, him, me, somebody should do a podcast and kind of incorporate this group that we have. And that's NC Deer Hunters. It's a Facebook group, and it's very tight knit, very small. We could have it be thousands of people, but we choose not to be that way. It's just, you know, it's kind of like a little good old boy society and everything. And so Doug is part of that, and I've known Doug for a really long time through that group.
I was just thinking how many years I've been in it. It's probably 6 or 7, maybe.
Yeah. So it's, you know, it's been one of those things that we've been, you know, it's been growing, it's been evolving and everything like that. But Sean kind of said, hey, you should do a podcast where you know, kind of talk to people from the group. We got a lot of characters, a lot of potential and everything out there. And so for that particular group, this is the first podcast. So, but we're not here to talk about the group. We're here to talk about what Doug is doing and where, you know, what he has recently started. And I've kind of seen his work. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And, you know, it's one of those things where I said, hey man, you know, get with me. I'd like to do a podcast, showcase what you're doing, get it out there for everybody. You do a great job. I think people are going to be super impressed when they start to see the quality of work that you provide. And then, this could potentially grow. So tell me, it's Bone Dust. So now, for everybody at home, right off the gate, it's Bone Dust NC on Instagram.
Yes, Bone Dust NC on Instagram.
Okay, so but if you want to, but the name of the company is Bone Dust, right?
Yes.
All right. So, tell me about it.
Just started this recently within the last few months, and it's been something that's been thoroughly enjoyable for me. You know, I've got an art background from high school, you know, into, you know, even earlier than that. Got away from it for a long time. Everything going on with, you know, 2020 being what it is, it's
been crazy, man.
It has. It's been crazy, and it's been a
great. Wild, man.
It's been a great break for me to start doing this and kind of get back in more of the artistic side that I've gotten away from. And I'm really enjoying it, and it's creating that memory that, you know, it can last somebody a lifetime.
Absolutely. So with it's called Bone Dust, right? But so I guess, you know, we hunt, I hunt, you hunt, you know, our followers, they hunt, and so, you know, with creating these memories and this, you know, artistic style to it, what exactly are you doing? What are you doing?
It is carving. Yeah, when I first started kind of screwing around a little bit with it years ago with a set of antlers that I had in the garage and the Dremel with the flex tip.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, nice.
Probably 3 to 4 years ago when I just went out to the garage one night, put the Dremel up on, got the flex bit for it, hooked it up, started messing around with it. Didn't really have the right bits for it at that time, not with what I know now.
Right.
And started, doing a little bit of detail here and there.
I remember this. I remember this like it was yesterday. You went out there and
I think.
Yeah, I did. So he went on the group and he was like, "Hey, I'm trying this stuff. I'm kind of carving on these antlers and everything, just giving it a shot." I think somebody had posted a picture of a set of antlers that had been carved, or maybe something.
I think that might have been that kind of sparked that.
Yeah,
that
saw
inspiration with it as far as.
And you were like, "I could do that," and
or at least give it a try.
Right, and so on these antlers, in fact, I think if you scroll way back, if you go way back in the memories on Instagram, you'll see it. It's a set of antlers, and it's got NCDH. I don't know if you added the For Life or if it was just NCDH.
No, it was just NCDH.
Okay, so usually if you see me in a lot of my posts, if I post and I tag NCDH For Life, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about my core group of North Carolina hunters, and that we all support each other. But he put NCDH on there, and he put our logo on there, and I was like, wow, It's on an antler. This is raw. I love this. This is really cool. Tell me more about it. I wanted to buy them. I think you use them for like.
I use them for rattling.
Yeah, it's like you're rattling. You was like, well, I'll just give it a shot. It's fine.
Haven't done me any good so far this season, but I've used them out there.
We're just getting into the middle of it. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
But it's been great. So going from that point years ago to this past season, a buck I had gotten, I wanted something different. So I had Jake do the Euro.
Yeah, Jake Rouse.
Jake cleaned it up for me, and I wanted to find somebody that did something different for me, and that's where Will Rollins stepped in with Skull Millworks.
Okay.
And he did Native American theme for me with the feathers on it, and does the painting on it.
Yeah,
as far as the metallic paint was concerned, which was awesome.
Yeah,
he does fantastic work.
I follow Will. He does a great job. Yeah.
Yep. And so that's really kind of, over the time between having that done up until this point this year, I kept looking at it and really was thinking, you know what, I'm going to look a little further into doing that.
Yeah.
To see if I could actually do it and see what it would turn out to be. And it takes a lot to surprise myself.
Right.
But I was very, impressed with what I'd actually come up with.
No, I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, I've seen the work. I've seen kind of a couple of different stuff that you've done, and throughout it all, I've been extremely impressed. Let me see. So the one that you did another one that had the logo on it. Which one was that?
The very first one I did, and that was maybe a month and a half ago, 2 months ago.
Right.
And that had the Southern Release and actually a deer skull on it with the antlers. And that's the one that I actually burned.
Right. Okay.
So that was the first one. So I took a torch to that one and burned the skull on that one just to see what it was like, and it turned out great. Yeah,
no, I looked at it again. I've had a lot of people try to attempt to do the logo, and when you and seeing that's something we talked about beforehand. When you've got people trying to recreate your what your envision is and your logo and stuff like that, what you think it should look like, it can be a touchy subject, but Doug did a great job, probably one of the best that I've ever seen. And I've had a lot of people try, and a lot of people, other than the people who actually pulled a vector file and used it to be able to do it by hand, thoroughly impressed. So, looking at that and everything like that, Doug kind of told me, he was like, I'm getting into this stuff. And I was like, man, dude, let's do a podcast. Let's talk about it. Let me try to get you some exposure because you're crazy talented. And I kind of wanted to show that. But I guess my question to you would be, as you were getting into this, like you said before that you were this 2020 is crazy, and I mean, if we're nowhere near done, I feel it, dude. We got like 2 months, 3 months. It's 2 months, right? It's not even 2. It's like a month and a half.
I think so.
I feel like it's gonna be 3 years long. Like I don't even know. But 2020, and the bad thing is, I'm hearing people say 2021. Oh, that's gonna be the good one. So I usually have, unfortunately, better years on odd years. So. Whatever, we'll see how it goes. We'll see what happens. But
hey, it's anything's possible.
Yeah, no, but 2020's been crazy, and you were using this to kind of get off and do your own thing, and then veg out, kind of like I use with like the editing and everything like that.
It's been a great break for me. We moved my dad down here and my aunt down here from New York when we could, with all this COVID crap going on.
Right.
And that was the beginning of July. And since the beginning of July, getting them down here, my dad's had 2 heart surgeries. And I take him to wound care a couple days a week. So it's really been something where I've got to focus on that. I've stepped away from other jobs. And it's given me that time to, it's kind of given me a different gear to get into with this.
Right.
So it's been that escape from running him to Wake Med and Duke. And doing all that, and it's been fantastic for me.
Well, outside of the podcast thing, I want to say, this is completely off topic, but one, I'm glad your dad's down here because he is in the best area for any type of medical.
We just talked about this last night, where honestly, with the stuff that we went through before he had the stents put in, and the trouble he was having, and the pain he was having, if he was still up in New York, and this is upstate New York, so it's 3.5 hours outside the city, so it's a small town. It's not a booming area where a lot of great healthcare is.
Well, I'm glad that he's here. He's in the right place, and for me and mine and my group, I know my group, my followers, and everything like that. We will all keep him in our prayers. We'll all keep him, in our thoughts.
I appreciate that.
So
thank you.
So yes, I'll say that. But then to get back on the podcast stuff, so you were saying that this is a release, but and I like to use that. 'Cause wink, wink. It's all about the release. But so,
nudge.
Yeah. So, but what got you started? Not in this, but what got you started with the artistic side of stuff? Like what actually? Because I'm gonna tell you something, man. Looking at the stuff, and I'll post them at the end of the video. If you hang around at the end of the podcast, I'll show pictures and video and stuff. He did a bear for me, a bear skull. I have yet to see it.
He hasn't seen the finished
I haven't
product
seen
yet.
it at all.
He's seen a few pictures here, but I stopped at a certain point and texted him and said, "You're not seeing anything else."
Right. They were, and I was like, I even sent him a text. I was like, it's kind of a, what move, And you could at least, but he sends me pictures of everybody else's stuff, which is even more of a kick in the knackers. But so, nevertheless, though, what, outside of this, what got you, because there has to be some level of, not everybody is talented with this. I'm telling you right now, I'm looking at a whiteboard where I wrote some stuff down. It looks horrible, I can't draw. I can't do any of this stuff. So the idea
coming up through middle school, elementary school, middle school, high school, especially middle school into high school, I was much more into the art classes than the math classes.
I got you.
I did a lot more with that. I would doodle. I would just, go on the pages and start writing.
Just start drawing as some sort of a getaway.
As that release.
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
Right
Well,
down to it. I drew a few tattoos for people that they've had over the years. The tattoo I have, I drew and had that done when I lived in LA for 7 years after college, and then came back to the East Coast. Thank God.
Yeah, right.
And it's always been there. It just depends on, how it's come out, what has brought it out.
I got you. Yeah, no, so that's, like I said, that's not something that everybody comes across. So as you were going up, you said something about college. You were doing this stuff, graphic design or something like that?
My degree is, computer drafting, technical illustration. Which, when I came out here, I started doing massage therapy for 11 years.
You're right.
I kind of stepped way away from doing stuff like that.
I can already say, so the exact stuff that I actually need help with Southern Release is the stuff that you do. You're like, that's, but I don't like that. But no.
When I went to college, the stuff that they had at that time in upstate New York was already, the release dates and the licenses were already so far behind that's kind of why I stayed. I kind of stepped away from that to do other things. because when I got out to California, if I was going to get into graphic design and drafting, then it was going to be 4 more years of school just to get up to speed with everything that was out there.
Right. I got you.
So I veered away from it.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, I went to school for high school, so that's what they did. I went to school to get out. And then I decided that I wanted to work. I was like, I got a great plan. It's called working. I'm gonna make millions. You
got to hit that point sooner or later.
Yeah. Well, nevertheless,
It took me 45 years to figure out what it is I really wanted to do when I grew up.
Well, I waited until I got to a point. It was like I work a regular job, and I go in every day and do this and everything. But then, this type of stuff is my passion, and it appears that this type of, anything that's artistic is somewhat of your passion. And what I will tell people is, when you can find someone where that's their passion, the product is through the roof, right? Because when somebody's doing something because they have to, I mean, now granted, I don't want to brag, but I'm very good at my job. Like, I go in, I do my job, I know what I have to do. I'm very efficient at it. I do what needs to be done, and I enjoy it to an extent. But when you find somebody that they are literally doing what they love, it changes the game. You know what I mean? I mean, literally, if somebody paid me for editing, which I'm not the best editor and photographer and stuff, I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend like I am. But if I got to that point and somebody was paying me for it, like, I dread editing videos, but then when I get into it, dude, I lock in. Like, I get lost. Like, I started something the other day, a little video for a buddy of mine. I started it at like 11 o'clock, and some files got corrupt and everything like that, and the computer won't act right, nothing was going right, and I got it all fixed, got it all figured out, edited it all, put it all together, and I noticed, I turned around, it was like almost 4 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. And the bad thing is I didn't even notice what time it was. My concern was not the time being made, and so that's why I say, if you can ever find somebody that's doing something that they love and that's their passion, the quality's there, because they're not paying attention to, people who go to work, they clock in at a certain time, they clock out, and they're looking for that clock out time, right? If that makes sense. A lot of you, I know, does something where they are looking for that clock out time. They're like, oh, I get off at 5, I get off at 4, Yeah. I've got this, I've got that. And you try to work everything else that you really want to do around that time. But when you can find somebody who's actually doing what their passion is, the quality goes through the roof. And I can tell,
you get a certain degree of love to it.
Right.
And you lose track of that time.
Right. I mean, you're no longer doing it. You're not doing something because you're going to get paid for it, right? You're not saying, well, I charged $500 for this, so I need to make sure I got $500 worth of stuff, which I'm sure with what you do is, nevertheless, all I'm saying is, when you tack a number on something, you get involved into trying to say, well, I'm not going to exceed this number. But when you're doing something you love,
it's hard to stop and not do
right, because
and not keep going, not keep finding a place that's there that doesn't have something on it and want to put something there.
Right, and you want to do stuff. So I thoroughly, I like what you're doing. I think it's great. I think that it has a lot of room for growth. Just knowing you as a person and knowing what you do. But so we kind of covered what it is that you do. You kind of tell me how you got started, but and you touched on, you had mentioned Will Rollins, but like, mm-hmm. who are really the inspirations? Because you're not the first person to ever do this, right?
No. I mean, but it can be difficult to find people that do this, that actually have advertised, to a certain extent.
Well,
there's a good amount of people that do the bone carvings. It's just not so much depending on how they gear it. So looking it up online, you're not going to find a lot of stuff there.
Right. Okay.
Do it, but they do it more as just a hobby. I want to get this out a little bit more to the public to see who wants it.
Right.
Who really is looking for something like this for what I do.
So we've got, when we're looking at it, there's a couple of different people that you can find.
Yeah, and the two that I've really asked a lot of questions to is Hunter Richardson with U.S. Skull Hunter.
Okay.
He's located in Virginia.
Okay.
He does a lot of videos. He does a lot of information. He does a lot of teaching.
Oh, okay.
In different
Okay.
aspects of what you can do and how you can do it. You know, different bits, different finishes, different ways to get that objective across.
Okay. Okay.
Another one is Bone Tats, Jeff Peterson out in Utah, and he's phenomenal.
I actually follow him. He does a great job. But he kind of scales towards the people out west though, right?
I couldn't tell you exactly as far as who he scales towards. You get a lot.
Well,
more.
I think he's located out west.
Mules. He is in Utah, so he does a lot of elk sheds.
Right.
He does a lot of mule deer.
Right.
From what I've seen,
And I don't think that anybody is like nailed down to a specific, but you know what I'm saying, in the sense that it's like his stuff is more of the elk. It's more of the mule deer and stuff like that. But he's
also done shows where one of the videos that I watched not long ago was somebody that brought a Cape buffalo to him. And this thing was humongous.
Right.
It was beautiful. The work he did on it was just incredible. But this guy had it. He wanted to do something different with it. Didn't want to just have it be, another one on the wall. He wanted it to stand out a little bit separate from the pack that he already had. And he wrote in that memory on that and carved out the memory for this gentleman, and it's going to be something that's going to last him a lifetime.
Well, and that's just like
that thing was huge.
Well, that's something I tell, and you kind of bring it to the next level or give it a different spin on it. I tell Jake Rouse all the time, and I told you earlier tonight, whenever you preserve these animals, a lot of people don't realize this. A lot of people. And I hate this comment. I hear this a lot from the people that are anti-hunting or anti-whatever. I hear the comment that, that's just a dead animal on the wall. You're showing that as a trophy. And I actually resent that comment because I don't appreciate that approach because, when it boils down to it, these are actual memories. Like I'm telling you right now, that deer, we'll go right here. So that deer right here, I've got memories of it. I literally have memories of it. And then, and the bad thing is like, regardless of what happened on any other time, like I would like to think, now I could get dementia, I don't know, but I'm just saying, I could literally be 80 years old. And I'm telling you right now, I'm going to remember everything that happened that day. Everything. And then you've got the one directly behind me, and I'm telling you, these are memories, and each one of them seems like one of those moments where, it's one of those things where it's like, well, you think every one of them is like crazy special, but when you preserve it, it almost like I've cut the antlers off of deers. So I've cut the antler off of deer before, yeah, right? That's coffee. Black Rifle coffee, thank you. No, but I've cut the antlers off a deer before, and I didn't, and I don't remember. I'm literally, not to brag, but I probably, before I really got into it, and mounting deer and then killing, or hunting, harvesting mature deer.
You could get into a whole nother podcast just on that subject.
Yeah, I know. But nevertheless, before I really got into preserving them, I don't remember them. Like I remember bits and pieces, but I'm telling you now that this one's on the wall, this one's on the wall, this one's on the wall, I literally remember the details right down to it. So when we say, it's not like a sales gimmick. When you say you're preserving a memory, it's the truth. Like you see it, you literally, everything goes back to that's the thing that triggers all this. So even though, Jake, I've got the bear rug, you did the bear skull.
I've had a couple of deer done by Jake as well. He does phenomenal work.
Oh yeah.
You're never going to forget any minute of those hunts. You don't forget.
But that's a different side. You add some, you and Jake both add an artistic side. He adds artistic side to be able to bring it back to like real life, like what you actually saw the moment of, right? Whereas you bring a different element and you're able to bring, you can add different things to, depending on what you're doing, you can go, if somebody comes to you and is like, hey, I killed this with my dad, you can
names, dates,
right.
You try to do, more of a portrait part of it, which you get you can do endless amounts of things on it. Whatever space you have, you can fill it.
Yeah. No, and I think that kind of turns into one of those things where it brings a different element to the memory, right? So it takes it even deeper because, like I said, I have my memories, right? But this brings, and even though Jake did the bear, I've got my memories with the bear. But now, I mean, to be honest with you, you're doing the skull. My memories of that bear skull, believe it or not, you don't need the bear skull to mount the bear. But now that I've got the bear, now that I've got this done, now I've got a different memory. Now this particular memory is going to end up being, a memory with you in this podcast and as you grow and stuff, because I really believe in what you're doing, and I actually think this is going to go big. Like, I really think you have a lot of talent, so I really think that it's going to grow.
It's going to take me wherever it's going to take me.
Well, it's one of those things. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. It is what it is, so to speak. But as long as you're enjoying it, it'll go somewhere. But I'm telling you, that's a major plus. So we kind of covered. So you said bone tats was one of them.
Yep.
And what was the other guy?
U.S. Skull Hunter.
And he's where?
He's out of Virginia.
He's out of Virginia. Okay.
Yep. Hunter Richardson.
Okay. And then so to date, what have you done? What's your work? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've taken a few of the skulls that I have. I've also looked around to see what else I can find. So I ended up picking up a longhorn skull off of Craigslist that a gentleman was just going to go ahead and get rid of. It's a little over 4.5 feet from tip to tip, and
yeah.
I mean, I didn't realize until I actually got it on my table just how big those skulls are.
No kidding, right? No kidding.
And I've been enjoying every minute of it.
I got you. So you've done the longhorn. You've done.
Yep. I've done 2 other bucks that I've had.
Okay.
And your bear skull.
Yeah, and then I think you did our buddy of ours, Rob. You did his buck skull.
Yep, I did Rob's from 2 seasons ago.
Right.
A Euro mount that he had that I asked him. I said, "Hey, you want me to go ahead and do it?" He said, "Absolutely." So I did it.
Yeah, and then we've got and then the moose.
I have a moose shed that I'm not posting any pictures of that one yet.
Keep it on the DL.
For friends of ours that just bought a place up in Lake Tahoe, so that's going to be something they can put on the wall up there.
I've seen some stuff, and to be honest with you really do need to, I will say, share this stuff. Even the small updates, if you're going to send them out, if you're going to put them on your personal, put them on the Instagram, because I'm telling you, don't hide this work. It's quality work. Don't reserve it. I understand once you get to a certain point, you're doing a bunch of them, but you're really.
I do want to keep people updated on what's going on, because there is still that approval part of it, that you want to make sure that what you're doing is what somebody really wants.
Right. And it's one of those things that I'm looking at it. It's kind of a. The Joker's big, but we can't literally bring it up here because it's just it really is. It takes up the whole.
That thing was just a free for all.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, well, and it's like I told Doug too. When you get in with these things, I'm that guy that people like him and Jake, they like to see, because I'm like I'll give you a little bit of guidance, but I'm like, let's go crazy, right? Everybody's like, oh, I thought it has to be this, or put me this on the front and then this, and it's like cookie cutter. You got
to do a little bit of digging. You gotta find little things here and there that you can just get from a regular conversation with somebody.
Right. Well, that comes into you being better at reading stuff like that. I'm just saying, let's go, turn it loose. Let's see what you got, because to me, I actually feel like putting handcuffs on somebody that has the ability to do something is kind of, when you try to reframe them, that's when stuff gets crazy. But if you really are like, hey, look, man, this is what I like A, B, C, and D, just go nuts. Yeah. But not everybody's personality is like that. What is the? I did tell him, so I was like, we're not going to be able to show this stuff during the podcast, but at least put the deer. Let's bring the deer up. So the deer,
This was one because I've always been a Grateful Dead fan.
right? So we won't be able to leave it up there. What we'll do is we'll hold it up there and you'll kind of, and again, it's one of those things that at the end of the show, at the end of the podcast, I'm gonna take pictures, I'm gonna take videos, I'm gonna show you up closes of this, and even my bear, because I have yet to see that. I'm trying to run through this daggone podcast. I'm ready to be done with it, to be honest with you. Because I told him, I said, we'll wait for the end to show the bear, and then, so I'm like, we could be done here in a little bit. But no, I'll post pictures and stuff of it. But like, if you're like, let's put it in perspective, right? So a deer skull, the average thing, if you're not getting, I mean, you're crazy. I told you with my sons, it won't one my son killed, but it was one I killed, the first deer I ever killed my son. I told you go nuts, and that's a little.
You can get out of hand with telling somebody to go nuts with something.
Well,
like
but yeah, right. So, but like the average thing, and again, I guess you'd have to just kind of like put it. What do you think you have in these things? Like if you were to do a skull, and you're not getting like crazy, you're just putting a couple things here and there. Like, okay, well,
the amount of time that goes into
yeah,
it.
let's say at the end of the podcast you'll see the bear, and then I'll post pictures of the bear and video of the bear at the end of the podcast to add on to it. So in the bear, what do you think you got in it? How much time do you have actually in the bear?
Between design and build or carve,
all of it.
Yeah, you're looking at probably about 7 or 8 hours.
7-8 hours,
yeah,
and that's
total time.
That's design, that's sit down, that's the entire thing.
That's draw, erase, get it.
And now let's take that in consideration too, though. This was already a skull,
yeah,
right? So this and I already know where this is going to go, right? So people will immediately think, I want to get this deer done. I'm gonna drop you off with a deer head, right?
Yeah, at the current time, I do not have a place to clean it, so it's gonna have to be cleaned before I would get it right.
Okay, that's good information.
Yeah, it's gonna have to go through the whole process before it would actually get shipped.
Right. So you've got 8 hours in just your work as far as the artistic work. That's not cleaning it. That's not doing anything. So you got to take that in consideration. Yeah. I want people to understand that, because if you take in your price and then if you don't know. I know a couple people that actually do it themselves and know how to do it, but I'm not necessarily a professional at cleaning the skull or whatever. So if you were to do that,
I've been reading up on it, and the process is
and there's a couple of quick ways to do it, and there's a couple of right ways to do it. And
the right ways take longer.
Right.
There's a little bit more money, a little more process to it if you're going to do it the proper way. But yeah, there are some quick ways. Just put in a flower pot and forget about it kind of ways to go ahead and do it. But you still got to do the cleaning afterwards, though.
Yeah. So, but I do want to make that clear. So right now, at this point in time, not saying that you won't end up turning into or growing or getting to that point, but right now, you're saying bring me a clean skull.
Yep.
And I'll turn it into something.
Yep. Clean, degreased.
And that's what I brought you, and you had 8 hours in it, 7 to 8 hours in it.
Yeah.
So if you was to I don't even want to know what it would take I don't even want to know what it would take if you were to add in the cleaning process. But no. So, and then we've got Sean. He's bringing you something.
Yep. Once we get squared away, because right now we're in transition from one house to another. So once I get the shop set up there and I get all my ducks in a row, because I'm also trying to put a system together that's not going to piss the neighbors off as far as the noise with air compressors, dust collection.
Who cares about the neighbors?
And so on.
Who cares about the neighbors? I mean, I say we just do these at a low boil.
You're not the one that I've got. I'm not the one that's got to worry about pissing the neighbors off. It's just whether or not the rest of the household is going to put up with it.
I got you. So
being upstairs and above the garage and so on.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Working at 10, 12 o'clock at night. That kind of gets a little loud.
It is, but it is. Yeah, no. So with that being said, where do you hope to take this? What's your ultimate goals for Bone Dust?
That's the thing, is it's kind of up in the air right now. I don't really know exactly where this is going to end up taking me.
No. I need an exact. I want to know exactly where this is going to go. I don't want to hear any BS. I want to be like, a year from now, I will have $1 million. Now,
Yeah, if that was the case, yeah, that's right.
And you probably should choose something other than cleaning an animal house. But no, like, what's your ultimate goal? I mean, are you like, truly, are you trying to turn this in?
I definitely want this to go somewhere. It's not that I don't, but right now everything is so brand new.
Right.
That I'm just trying to take things step by step.
Right.
And right now the focus is making sure that I've got the process the way I want it.
I got you.
And that I've got the equipment the way that I need it to be.
Right.
So that it makes everything else go that much smoother.
I got you. There's got to be some level of, I mean, I can only imagine. I mean, who would ever think that like carving a bunch of dust off of a skull could be a bad thing? But there's probably some negatives to it.
Oh, you're respirated up. You've got to make sure that you have all of that stuff.
You look like you're about to walk
you
look like you're about to walk into a Harris Teeter. I get it. I get it. It's 2020.
It's got to be much more than that. Now, granted, I did see a woman in Harris Teeter probably 3 months ago that had a full face cover respirator on. But no, that's, it's anything that you're going to cover as far as, woodworking is concerned with the dust, it's not healthy for you.
Right. So it's going to, and that's something else too, that adds to the cost of just
there
doing.
There is, between, just the carving equipment itself, you're going from the Dremel and stepping up to, a higher speed.
Right. So well, I don't know. So with that stuff, like you're not using like Home Depot Dremel tools, right?
I originally started with that.
Right.
And that's you hang the 3500 Dremel, off the nail, and you've got the flex shaft that goes with it that you can put the 1/4 inch or the 3/32 inch shanks in,
right,
and do your thing. But if you're going to go ahead and get some of the finer detail, that's not that you can't get finer detail, because Hunter does great stuff with US Skull Hunter with just a Dremel. He does also have a turbo carver that he uses.
Okay.
Now, you go from 35,000 RPM with a Dremel to what I've got, which is an NSK Presto 2, which is a dental carver. It runs off, the air compressor that goes from 35,000 RPM to 400,000 RPM. You've got a much different skill set that goes with some of those bits that are 1/16th.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like we could run 8s at Rockingham. That's all I'm saying. I feel like we're at a drag race. I have, you're talking Spanish. I have no idea what you're saying, but it's a different level. This is not your basic. Hey, and not to discourage anybody, if you've got an artistic side and you want to get into this, into it.
Absolutely. It is rewarding to you when you see what you can create with it.
Right. And I mean, to be honest with you, that's how you got into it. You just literally was like, let's see what happens. I mean, I
walked in after doing the first one. My wife was like, holy shit, babe.
Yeah, right. I would down. I'm going to do this again. Swear to God.
About time I did something right.
Hell yeah. He was like, this is it. I've hit my home. That's awesome.
She's always wanted me to do more of the artistic side, though. As well,
right, and I think, for the most part, again, I've said, and you surround yourself with good people. People like to see you do your thing, right? Like they like to see you do what makes you happy and is artistic, because you don't get. It's not a job. It just you're doing what you do because you love it, and whenever you're doing that, there's way more into it. And I think that if people can appreciate that. So I don't know. So let's see. So we've covered them all. What do we got? I'm ready.
You got your barrel left.
I'm burning through this. People, I'm rushing this one. Look, I would talk all night. I'm like, give me my friggin' bear. I just want to see this. Dang bear,
just want to see it.
I just want to see the bear. I mean, we'll probably spend 20 minutes talking about the bear. At this point, I just want to see the bear. You have no idea. I have not seen it. This joker wouldn't send me no pictures. He wouldn't send me nothing. He sent me pictures of I'm talking about barely getting started, and then that was it. And then I was like, I'm trying to look over till I'm trying to cut my eyes, but I'm telling you, holy smokes, dude. This is cool.
All right, hang on a second. All right, there we go.
Dude, the bad thing is like, okay, all right.
Well, don't start off saying what the bad thing is.
No, well, I'm wanting to pick it up, dude. This is crazy. I'm loving this bear on the front. The logo's on there. And again, we're going to end up showing pictures, but I'll show you that right now, which is not. I feel like I could look at this for like an hour and try to, holy smokes. There's another logo. It's everywhere, dude. I'm looking like, I feel like this is.
I didn't put anything underneath.
I gotta say, you remember back in like this is for the old folks, damn. But you remember back what was that, Pick Finder or whatever? You be at the barber, like chick be playing Pick Finder, you be like, oh yeah, I can find this stuff. I feel like I'm fine. I feel like I'm playing that because there's so much here. There's literally so much here. This is crazy, dude. Doug, this is awesome, man. I'm trying to. So I'm reading it. Look, I'm trying to take it all in, right? I'm not going to break down like CNN and cry. I'm trying to take it all in because literally I don't think you understand, man. This is, so on the jawbone, again, I'll take pictures and play it out, but on the jawbone, it's all about the release. On this side, we've got a bear paw. I've got a duck flying right here. I've got the logo, and then you've got all different types of just designs across it. Like, I don't even want to name it because I feel like I would screw it up. Then you've got a bear across the front. On the right here on the front, you've got the bear right there. Then you've got a fish on this side, right? And then you've got a deer.
I tried to cover a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and then you've got a deer. You got a deer print, and then you've got another Southern Release, the entire logo. Which I'm gonna tell you something, man. Our logo is super tough to do small for friggin' people who have machines that do it for them. Like, let's be honest. Like, I'm telling you, whenever I shrink a logo down to this size, the people who have machines to do it are like, I don't really want to do that. I'm like, what?
I'm not going to say I didn't draw and erase that a few times before.
But I'm telling you right,
to get
dude,
the size, to get the size.
To
right.
be freehand, this is nuts, dude. And then the logo on the other side. So you've got a logo on this side and a logo on that side. You've got the full logo here. You better be pausing and zooming in. I'm gonna end up giving you pictures, and you got this all about the release right here. This is crazy, dude. I feel like I'm gonna mess it up. I don't want to. I don't want to fuck this up. I'm gonna be honest with you. Part of me doesn't want to touch it, but this is crazy, though, man. This is fantastic work.
Thank you.
This is awesome.
Glad you like it.
No, I thoroughly like it. I'm beyond happy with it. This is awesome. I'm telling you, man. This is one of those things that, like, and again, I'm gonna take pictures and show it. But just like I said, I will literally. But here's the deal. Like I said before, I will literally look at this skull, have memories, right? So my bear rug, immediately I'm gonna have memories of me and Jake Rouse and Jared Sassnet. And hunting bear, and all I could get into a long story of just stupidity. I need to get into it. I need to do a podcast of like 6 people just telling stupid ass stories. but that was a great time. I mean, every minute of it, all the way back to Jake's and cleaning the friggin' bear and the whole nine, and then taking that thing to John Heron, which my buddy John Heron he's a processor. And he's looking for work. So, nevertheless, inside joke, NC Deer Hunters, if you pick that up, look, the first person that watches this and picks that up, you get a free hat.
Way to go, Mark.
Yeah, right. So, if you pick that up, the first person from that group that picks that up and gets that joke, you get a free hat. But no, all of that's got a story to it. And I remember like it was yesterday, every bit of it. And then now I've got this skull, but this one this one's going to start a new memory. This is going to start a memory of this. This is going to start a memory of the podcast. This is going to start a memory of your beginnings. And I think this is going to go This is going to go a long ways. I've seen a lot of your work. It looks fantastic. I'm super excited, man. I'm telling you, this is going to go. This is going to go places.
I'm definitely very excited about it. I'm glad I could bring something like this to the table.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and the bad thing is, 10 years from now, I will freaking love this, and you'll be like, oh, I could do better now.
I say that with every piece now.
Jake does this same stuff to me, because I'll be like, he'll look at something he mounted, like he'll come up here, and he'll look at that, and I'm like, that is fantastic. And he'll be like, what? He'll be like, well, I don't like this. I don't like that. I'm like, quit being picky. But that comes from being an artist. That comes from actually having passion.
It's the same thing, because I can look at every little piece that I've done and say, I could have done this better.
Right. I think that comes from people that are providing quality work, right?
You don't go through and do this without punching yourself in the face a few times.
Yeah, right. So, well, man, I'm gonna tell you what. I am super freaking happy. I cannot wait. We're gonna post some pictures. I'm gonna post some videos. We're gonna do the longhorn. He's got another deer skull here. He's got a bear skull. I'm gonna help him. Make sure you check him out at Bone Dust NC. That's on Instagram.
Yep, on Instagram. I'm going through little by little to get everything else set up right now. We're going through some stuff with logo design. I just started with the Instagram because I want to start getting this out there, but we will piece by piece, within the next probably couple of weeks, get everything, heading in the right direction for accepting everybody else's likes, et cetera, et cetera.
All right. So go check him out. Make sure you give him a like, give him a follow. Check out my boy Doug. Damn, seriously. Where we go from here? What's next? Hey, let's go rally cap. Let's go boom, boom, boom. Let's go, what is it? Bang, kill, marry? What is it? But no, seriously. So ideally, what is the one you really want to do? What is the one that you're, committed to? And then what is the one that, I guess, so bang, kill, marry. So you'd be like, what is the one you really are like, you're super excited to do? What's the one that's like, you're willing to do, but maybe you don't like? I mean, I would think like turkey skulls or something.
Turkey skulls. It's the small ones like that would still, that kind of thing would keep me up at night.
All right,
because it's so small, so thin. It's very difficult. Besides just painting them would be a different thing, but you can do so much more with have the turkey skulls, the mount, and do everything else behind it. That's
right.
Really what a lot of showcases that.
Right.
So there's still a lot that I'm learning with that.
Right.
Every single one of them, between the bear skull, the deer skulls. Deer skulls, you got to find your thin points. You got to see where you can go a little bit deeper. Bear skulls, you've got a little bit more room to go a little bit deeper in certain areas. The cow skull, that thing was
nuts.
That was insane. But doing something like the moose shed that I'm doing now, that you can go crazy with that because you have so much depth to it that you can really get a lot of, you can get around a tree. You could just carve an entire moose within the shed and have that depth.
Right.
So you try to get as much depth as you can without punching through with some of these skulls, and that's the difficult part, because with that dental carver, that thing moves so fast.
Right. If
you've got too heavy of a hand, that'll just burn right through in no time.
Right.
It'll go.
This is why your dentist charge so much.
Exactly.
I dislike all of you. No.
It's everything is new to me. It's one of the things I love the most about this right now is that every piece is different. Every piece is new. Everything is going to go a different direction.
Right.
From the last one that I did.
All right. So
it's kind of look forward to each piece, as they come.
That was a good dodge. So bang, kill, marry. I want to know, bang, kill, marry. What's you haven't done yet? You look forward to.
Yeah, I'm so new to this. That's the hard part.
Now, come on, dude. You gotta. What is something that you're like, this is my creme de la creme. Somebody sends me this.
As long as I can fit it in the garage, I'll carve it.
I know, but like, come on, man, something's got to strike your fancy. You got to be like, look, this is gonna be it.
If I get to the point where I'm doing stuff from Africa, et cetera, that's just
Okay. So anything exotic. Okay.
Oh yeah, exotic stuff. Honestly, that means you've gotten out there. That means that you're doing.
Well, those hunts cost a lot of money. So if you're in that realm, I got you. So kill. So you're not against anything, but what's something you're like, man, I just don't even want to, not saying that you wouldn't do it or don't do it, but you're like, this one is going to be tedious as all. Look, I know everybody's got them.
They can all be a little tedious.
Well,
but that's the artistic side of it.
Yeah.
They are time consuming to make sure that what you're doing, because it's one of those things where all of a sudden somebody walks up behind you, hit your shoulder while you're doing it.
Right.
It's done. You got to figure out how to go ahead and fix it.
All right.
But yeah, it's thinner skulls are much more difficult than some of the thicker ones to do.
Name me an animal.
Well, you already
I want to hear.
You kind of figured turkey.
Okay. All right. We'll go.
Haven't come across one yet, so I couldn't tell you.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
All right. So and I'm going to go out on a limb. The Mary would probably be the whitetail, right? That's probably
That's going to be your standard.
That's the one that you can pretty much guarantee, and people like that. And it's one of those things that, and it's like I told you earlier, I really want to kill one massive, and it's so hard. I'm not even gonna lie, it's so hard. You kill a big buck and you're like, I need to put it on the wall. But and not saying this wouldn't put it on the wall, but it's so hard to be like, I want the whole thing here. But I do want to kill one that that is a big deer that ends up getting this type of treatment for the simple fact that it's a different type. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's a little something a little different, that brings a lot to the table because it takes up less room and all that other stuff. And you get to a point where maybe you've done a couple different maths. Like I'm that weirdo. Like I'm telling you, I let Jake do crazy stuff, and I'm telling you, that's my guy. Like if I kill a deer, he's mounting it. But then the flip side is, I do want to do one where I get to do some carvings, get to do some different stuff, and really take it to the next level and be different, because I think that stands out. People walk in and they're like, whoa, that's a really big deer. And they look at it and they're like, oh, and then they start looking at all the stuff that is involved. So that takes it to the next level. And
you get a little bit of a different personalization with it.
Right. Absolutely. So, all right. So we've gone through that. Is there anything else that you want to say? Tell me something. Is there anything you're like, I need to get this out there. I want to speak on it. I want to cover it. What you got?
Not right now, because like I said before, and I don't mean to, it's not beating a dead horse, but it's just everything is so new to me right now that it is. It's one of those points right now where I've got a million questions, but I don't know which one to ask first.
I got you. All right.
But I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Well, and we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to you growing. We're looking forward to you bringing more stuff to the table. I'll look forward to bringing stuff to you. I'm sending him home with a cow skull, and I look forward to that. And then I've actually got another deer that I just wanted to just go wild. I don't care if it takes 5 years. I just want to go nuts. Like literally, I'm not married to anything. I just want to go nuts, and then whenever I give it to my son, the actual deer itself is not that big, but whenever I give it to my son, I want him to look at it and be like, "This is something that I should never lose ever." If that makes sense, you know what I mean? It's like one of those things that he literally looks at it and is like, "No matter what I have that my dad gave me, this." This will never go anywhere. Yep. His wife will be like, I don't like that. And he'll be like, you got to live with this one. There's a lot of stuff I'm willing to give up. This ain't it, bro.
That's putting a lot of pressure on me right there.
It's putting a lot of pressure on him. He's the one that's got, all you got to do is carve it. He's the one that's got to face it. Yep. He's the one that's got to face the argument. But so we're super good. We're going to take a bunch of pictures. We're going to take a bunch of videos. We'll post that. As soon as this podcast is over, we're going to fade right into the logo, our logo, and then we're going to jump over to pictures and video of Doug's work. We look forward to it. I hope you all enjoyed this podcast. I hope everybody enjoyed everything. We look forward to the next one. And don't forget, whoever comes up the first, it's just the first. I know how y'all work. It's just the first person that caught the joke about the processor. The first one, I don't care who it is. It could be somebody. It could be the person that the joke was about. I don't care. But the first person that sends me a text, sends me a message, sends me something stating how everybody except for him, but the first person that sends something gets a free hat. So other than that, we hope y'all have a good one. We'll catch you on the next one. Y'all have a good one. Remember, it's all about the release. Doug, thanks for hanging out.
Appreciate it, man. Thank
yes,
you very
sir.
much.
Good time.